been talking a lot about shares. Today is perhaps historic because we're going to get another instrument. You and I and the common investor is going to get a new investment instrument. You know, until now you put your savings in either fixed deposits, or you perhaps could buy real estate, or you could, of course, buy mutual funds, either debt mutual funds or equity mutual funds. But now we have a new product called a real estate investment trust. What does it mean? Why are we discussing it today? Because Blackstone-backed company called Embassy Office Parks is going to launch India's first real estate investment trust, or REIT. It's just in a while from now, maybe in half an hour from now, the REIT is going to be launched in India. First, we have our colleague Sonal Bhutra here to explain to us what is a real estate investment trust. And in a bit, we're going to be joined by Kevin, our colleague who is at the press conference where the first Indian REIT is going to be launched. But Sonal Bhutra, first take it away from us and explain to us, what is this new instrument? All
right, Lata, thanks a lot for that. And REIT, that is Real Estate Investment Trust, it is a company that owns and operates income-producing real estate. Simply put, it is like a mutual fund, but the underlying asset is a real estate asset. So in terms of real estate assets, it could be commercial buildings, something like an office, something like a hotel. So all these are the places where a real estate investment trust would invest all the money that they take from the unit holders. So basically, like mutual fund units, you will be given units from the real estate investment trust. So now the minimum investment, if you are a retail investor, would you be able to participate? Yes, but the minimum amount that you have to be paying is around 2 lakh rupees. So definitely this is a huge amount.
2 lakh rupees for one unit.
For one unit. The minimum amount that you have to invest is 2 lakh rupees. Now there are also talks on the street that once any of these REITs get listed, they might reduce the amount to 1 lakh rupees. So that is something the investors are definitely looking out for. But in terms of investment, where do the REITs invest the money? So around 80% of the proceeds that they get, they have to be investing it in completed projects or revenue generating projects. It cannot be in an under construction property. 80% has to be in completed projects. The remaining 20%, they can do it in development properties. It can be done in mortgage-backed securities, corporate debt of this particular sector. Also, they have to invest it minimum in 2 properties, and also 60% of the money cannot be invested in more than 1 property. So they have certain rules and regulations with respect to where REITs can actually invest this money that they get. Now, what do investors earn out of it? They will be getting these lease rentals, they will be getting interest from these REITs, and that is on a periodic basis. Apart from that, if they go ahead and they redeem these particular units, they will be earning capital gains on this particular REITs. In terms of how these income that you get is taxed, so now whatever you get from REITs in terms of monthly returns, that will be taxed as income interest, and that will be taxed as per the provisions of income tax law. If you redeem it, it will be taxed as capital gains for you. So REIT has to distribute minimum 90% of the distributable cash flows in every 6 months. So that is something that they have to do compulsorily. So this is something that actually puts forth in terms of what REITs do. But why is it gaining so much traction is because real estate, people don't really go ahead and invest in real estate because they don't have so much money. And it is an illiquid asset. Yeah. So it gives more access to the developers to get more money, and also it gives us more access to what kind of investment assets you can invest in, right? So that is what REITs are.
From an investor point of view, he has an option to invest in a real estate stock or in a REIT. So would you say the returns from REIT will be far more stable compared to stock returns, which are volatile?
Absolutely, because rental yields are expected at around 7 to 9%. If you have any capital appreciation, it will be around 3 to 4%.
So you get to participate in the real estate story, but with steady returns.
And it is different from a real estate mutual fund, right? It is not absolutely similar to that. Okay. Here you have commercial assets, but there you have mutual funds in terms of equities. So it is different that way as well.
Yeah.
Correct.
No, I mean, the fundamental point, of course, is also it's diversified. I mean, if you bought a piece of land, you're stuck with it. Or if you bought a DLF share,
real estate stock.
Yeah, you have that one share. Yeah. You know, here you would have the actual real estate, but diversified, because you would have some commercial properties, some perhaps even underdeveloped or under construction, which can give you an upside. And most importantly, you have a buyer. If you bought a piece of land, you have to look for the buyer. It could be illiquid. Here you have a ready-made buyer in the REIT trust itself. So hopefully this will be a very big investment route for savers in India. But how is the first real estate investment trust going to look in terms of the details of the product itself? Kevin Lee, our reporter, joins in from the a place where the press conference is happening. Kevin, tell us, what are the details of this particular REIT?
SEBI first notified the rules for REIT listings or real estate investment trust listings back in 2014. It's been almost 5 years since that day, and finally we're going to get India's first REIT listing. Blackstone-backed Embassy Office Parks is looking to raise 5,000 crore rupees from the market via this REIT listing that they are going to announce today. The assets of the REIT are spread over 33 million square feet, which makes it Asia's biggest REIT listing by size. This has 24 million square feet of completed assets and 9 million square feet of either under construction or assets that are in the pipeline. The REIT is going to contain 11 real estate assets spread over 4 cities. 6 of these are wholly owned by Blackstone. The REIT will also have the right of first refusal for 50 million square feet of future Embassy projects. That's projects that Embassy will be making over the next 2 to 3 years. The REIT is going to have the right of first refusal for that. Also remember that SEBI had changed the guidelines for REIT listings since Blackstone-backed Embassy Office Parks had filed the DRHP. So we'll have to clarify on whether the new norms apply to this REIT listing in terms of the leverage that they can raise and the entry barrier for retail investors. So we'll bring you those details and more after the conference.
All right, we'll leave it at that, Kevin. We'll wait for you to give us more details. And, OK, I think we should be able to get footage now as Kevin enters the place. Yeah, he will enter the auditorium where the REIT is going to be launched. And thereafter, you know, we will be able to speak with perhaps the trust which is launching this real estate investment instrument and maybe get more details.